Now, a new LP reissue next of a fine piano trio led by a man I interviewed for Radio 3's Jazz Legends some years ago, Mal Waldron. And joining me to talk about it is requester Tony Higgins. And Tony, this is really extraordinary because Mal is one of the great survival stories in jazz.
He really is, yeah. I mean, his output is huge over 50 years. And this album, the Mal Waldron Trio, recorded in Rome in 1966, is all the more extraordinary because it was one of those first recordings he made after he nearly died following a drug overdose. And in fact, he was so ill following the overdose that he forgot, he didn't remember how to play the piano or read music. He had to relearn. Isn't that extraordinary?
I remember he said to me in the interview that he was two personalities. He was this rather florid, romantic pianist before the incident, and then when he'd relearned, he became a much more angular, spiky player. And that's the side of Mal that this album really reflects.
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's a very well-rounded album as well. There's all sorts of things going on in it. He was an extraordinary artist, really. I mean, he relocated to Europe, well, this is obviously recorded in Rome, and made the first recording for ECM, first recording for Enja, and went on to build a career in Japan. So he's a fantastic, very curious artist to sort of follow, you know. And this album was unavailable since it was recorded. Very rare, very hard to get hold of, but it's been reissued lovingly on vinyl, massive resurgence on vinyl, by an Italian label, rather fittingly, called seriE.WOC. And it's great to hear it again, it's fantastic.
So this originally came out on vinyl in 1966 from the Karim label in Italy.
That's right.
Really, unless you were in Italy at the time and you happened to know about it, it's not the kind of thing that you'd have snapped up.
It's very obscure. It's one of the most obscure records in Waldron's huge output, actually, and the reissue has probably saved me 500 quid.
Now, one of the things that Mal did when he was in Europe was to form partnerships with other musicians, and here we hear him with Giovanni Tommaso on bass and Pepito Pignatelli on drums. And I think this was one of the groups that he did work with for quite a while when he was getting his career back together again.
Absolutely. He became a real firmament in European jazz and worked with a host of European luminaries. He was one of American artists who relocated to Europe, like Dexter Gordon, Art Farmer, many others, and he really became part of the scene.
Well, talking about part of the scene, this is his composition, Doc Scene. Mal Waldron Trio. That's Mal Waldron piano, Giovanni Tommaso bass, Pepito Pignatelli drums on the 31st of May 1966, and the piece was Mal's composition, Doc Scene.